Welcome back. The General Services Administration's new Polaris contract will replace the Alliant 2 contract it canceled recently. GSA is taking industry feedback on what it should include. Larry Allen is the president of Allen Federal Business Partners. Larry, thanks very much for joining me. What is new about Polaris and what will be different?
Francis, I think one of the things that we know is going to be new about Polaris is GSA's emphasis on innovation. They really want new businesses, smaller businesses. This is intended to be a small business contract, and they were going out of their way to say, bring us the cutting edge. A couple of possible changes to Polaris over Alliant Small Business 2. GSA may elect to implement non-contract level pricing for this program. And that would be the first major acquisition program, aside from a couple of GSA schedules where they're going to try that out, where they can use the authority that Congress gave them to try non-priced contracts. Francis, I think that could be innovative in a number of ways. First of all, you don't have to spend so much time putting that in your RFP if you're GSA, and you don't have to respond to it if you're a contractor. That could reduce the cycle time. It could also potentially reduce protests. So I think that could be very innovative if they took that route.
This is something that people have been asking for a long time. Roger Waldron talked about it when he was on the program the last time. What's been the holdup? This is something that people have been asking for. Why has this been something that GSA at least has hesitated to do?
I think there are a couple of reasons, Francis. From a business side, it is, will your customer agency still have faith that GSA has performed a valuable service by putting the contracts into place with good terms and conditions and vetting the contractors to make sure they're responsible and responsive, but did not put any prices in at the contract level? So a federal buyer could say, that's really great, GSA, but you left more work for me to do. Now that I have to be the one who negotiates pricing at the task order level. So I think there's been that hesitancy for GSA to move forward on that part. And I also think the oversight community inside the agency, this is new, and anytime you have something new, the oversight community really wants to vet it.
Emily Murphy, the administrator of GSA, was on the program on Sunday and said small business about 842 times. I might be exaggerating a little bit while she was on. GSA's commitment to small business is obvious, and Laura Stanton, writing about this pricing issue on this blog post about Polaris, wrote this: "It's important that we continue our efforts to increase competition in the marketplace by creating opportunities for qualified small businesses because of this shift in the focus of pricing competition to the task order level." What will make that work for small businesses, or is this kind of an inherent disadvantage maybe because of that?
I think what makes it work for small businesses is, look, you're a smaller business. You may not have been in business for very long, but you've got an innovative solution that people seem to like. Those could be government customers, they could be commercial customers. So you're not a new company just getting started. You've got some sales, some business, but you don't really have an overall disciplined pricing model. That's been kind of something that has held companies back, Francis, from doing business with GSA, whether it's on the schedule or another contract, because they have a difficulty showing that they're offering the government a competitive price at the contract level. Everything's done with these companies on a deal-based level. What we're getting to with task order-based pricing is that deal-based level experience, which makes it easier for the small business to play in the arena that they usually play in, but it also means that they don't have to artificially construct a pricing policy to meet a GSA requirement.
Given the fact that Alliant 2 is out and Polaris is in, it strikes me that GSA seems to believe time is of the essence. Laura writes this about the timeline: "We're working to release a request for information this month. Hopeful we'll be able to get a draft request for proposals out within the next few months." Is that doable, do you think, Larry?
Francis, I think it's doable, but I would even challenge the agency to go faster. Putting out a draft RFP in a few months is not really well defined, and it's kind of consistent with what you would see for a normal GWAC experience. I don't think GSA intends Polaris to be normal. Indeed, I think they could really set out an innovative place for themselves in the landscape if they were able to get Polaris contracts out and awarded by the middle of next spring or early summer, in time for people to make buys during the last part of the FY21 fiscal year. I think that's doable, Francis, particularly if nobody has to negotiate pricing or submit pricing information. I've talked recently about the viability of large indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contracts. As you know, that's where I've spent the bulk of my professional career. One of the downsides of those contracts now is that they can take as long as 5 years to put in place. 5 years across 5 Aprils is a great name for a Civil War book. In fact, it is a name for a Civil War book. But it's no way to have an IDIQ strategy in government, particularly when you want to take care of small businesses and you're publicly seeking innovation. I think we can get this done much sooner.
Literary expert Larry Allen, thanks very much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Francis.